With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, Superman, as we talked about last week, officially crossed the break-even point. So congratulations with them. By the way, Jurassic World, what's it called again? Jurassic Rebirth is like closing in on $800 million worldwide.
Yep.
But you know what it hasn't made more money than domestically? Superman. Superman actually made more money than Jurassic World domestically. Superman is the highest grossing Superman movie of all time domestically. And we talked about last week how it just cracked the break-even point, and now it's just at about $580 million.
Yep.
Already. So it's well into profitability. Yet, nevertheless, even though we broke down all the math, last week we broke down all the math. We even said, look, you could, whichever one of the math formulas you want to go with. We went with the one I use, which is production plus marketing multiplied by 1.5 equals your break-even mark. We said, okay, there you go. But then we even took what is the commonly one used, the one that everybody online likes to use. Production budget multiplied by 2.5. Okay, we did that too. Superman's profitable. By whatever metric you want to measure, Superman's become profitable. Yet, there's still these moving goalposts out there that people keep saying, well, no, it actually needed to make this much money. And there's some rumor going around that it needed to make $650 million.
They keep bumping it by
which,
50.
if you don't know anything about math, sure, I can see how you'd believe that. But James Gunn was specifically asked about it, and he said, no, he put that to rest. Listen, said this. A fan recently asked Gunn on Threads about Superman's box office, stating, people online keep saying that Superman needs to make $650 million to break even and be a success. Is that true, or would you say it's already a success? Huge fan of the movie, by the way. To which Gunn replied, absolutely false. Anyone saying that doesn't have an understanding of how the film business works. And we would have been idiots to make a first in a franchise film that would need to make $600 million, $650 million to be profitable. Which, I don't know. Oh yeah, I've been saying that for years. So yeah, put all that nonsense to, you know what, Rob? You can just say numbers. Watch, I'll say a number.
No, don't do it.
$3,565,000.
No,
I said a number.
Never be
You have
profitable.
to go and say that.
Dude, I thought you liked WB. It's never going to be profitable now.
Yeah, but sorry. See, I can say numbers too. I can just say something without backing it up with anything. It's like on Donald Trump. Anyway. So, that being said, the film's now firmly in the profit. Now it's making $25-30 million of profit. It's approaching. I still don't know that it'll get to 600 million. But I was glad to be proven wrong. I mean, I've said for 2 years, I didn't even think Superman would be profitable. So I'm glad to be proven wrong. I've said for a couple of years it wouldn't. I've also said it didn't need to be profitable because that's not what was important to Superman. What was important to Superman was repairing the unbelievable catastrophic damage done to the DC image and IP by the failed DCEU. That is a huge obstacle it has to overcome. And, you know, to see what it's done here is pretty impressive. And he, by the way, then also went on to confirm that the sequel's happening. We don't know what it's going to be called. They keep calling it a super family, but he's also referring to it as the sequel to Superman.
Super-man.
The super-est man that they're doing. So this has obviously worked out well on them. But plus, look, Rob, I've said this before. I'll bring it up here again. The reason why, and this is where it connects to James Gunn's statement. People keep saying, John, I understand. Why do you keep saying that Superman doesn't need to be profitable? Don't you want it to be successful? Are you a DC hater? Blah, blah, blah. No. It's not that at all. It's the point that, Rob, one of the key differences between successful people and unsuccessful people. There's
Money?
a number of things. there's a number of things. There's work ethic. There's whatever, all that kind of stuff. But one of the big significant, I believe, differences between people who are successful and people who are not is people who are successful look big picture and long term.
Yeah.
People who are generally unsuccessful, I find, just look to see what's right in front of them. They try to decide what they're going to do tomorrow. A good example of this is Disney Plus. Do you know that in its first year of operating, Disney Plus lost not $50 million, not $100 million, not $300 million, not $700 million, not $900 million. Disney Plus lost $1 billion in its first year.
Nice.
Now, to the short-term thinking people, and there were at the time, I remember when those financials came out and everybody's like, Disney Plus fell on its face and failed. It sucked. Look at Netflix is making money. Disney couldn't do it. Ha ha. Of course, they all forgot that Disney Plus streamed for like 12 years, losing money every single year until they finally turned a profit. What did I say?
Disney Plus.
Sorry, yeah, Netflix. Streamed for like almost a dozen years, losing money every year, also, losing less and less and less.
Disney Plus was $5.99.
Yeah, Disney Plus was $5.99 at the time. It's a very different story today. Today, Disney Plus is profitable. So the reason Disney Plus did not go, oh, well, we lost $1 billion, just pull the plug, is because no. We understood. We know. First year, it's going to be whatever. We're entering into a new realm we've never been in. There's already an established powerhouse in this playground. It's going to take us some time. Mm-hmm. They looked at it big picture. When I started the John Campea YouTube channel, I could have, and I did have people like I think my first month, I had like 200,000 views in my first month, to which I had, remember, I rolled the dice. I quit my 6-figure paying job over at Collider and all that kind of stuff to go and launch my own thing. And once I had like 200,000 views my first month, if I'm remembering that right, I had a whole bunch of people gleefully tell me what a failure I was. Tell me, did you see what a big mistake you made leaving Complex and all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I could have been very short-sighted about it. But I was not looking about what is my first month going to do. I was looking at what am I going to do in my first month? Then how am I going to build on that in the second month? My thinking was, where am I going to be in 3 years? Will I be able to be, because I don't know if you knew this, Rob, but a 200,000 view thing on YouTube, not enough to pay your bills.
No, I know that.
Yeah, not pay enough does not make you enough money to pay your bills. So I was looking at it. I knew I wasn't going to break even in my first month. I didn't even know if I'd break even in my first year. But what I was thinking in terms of 1, 2, 3 years is how I wanted to look at it. So sure, a lot of people could look at my first month and say, Campea, you're a complete and utter failure. Sounds like something my mom would say. No, just kidding. My mom was my biggest cheerleader. But, that's the thing. And for a lot of people keep forgetting that with this Superman movie, they didn't have all the advantages that, say, my favorite Superman movie of all time, Man of Steel, had. Man of Steel is my all-time favorite Superman movie. Love you, Henry. But it had a lot of advantages that Superman simply did not have. Man of Steel came out at a time when nothing was hotter than superhero movies. A bunch of superhero movies had just joined the $1 billion club. Everything was rolling. Superman was getting a fresh start after a long delay from Superman Returns to that. It was building off the momentum that we had with the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. It had and more people were going to the movie theaters at that time. Because remember, it was pre-pandemic. It had all these advantages. And I say that as that's my favorite Superman movie. Still to this day is my favorite. And that's why I said for 2 years, Rob, that Superman, this new one probably won't break even. And that's okay. And for 2 years, I had short-term thinking people, short-sighted people going, well, Campea, you're an idiot. It's the movie business. You got to make money. It's a failure if it doesn't make money. And I was just like, if you don't know how to look long-term, I don't have the time to sit here to explain it to you.
Oh, and they'd flip the logic. They'd say, remind me again how it's a good thing this won't make money.
Yes. I never said it's good. I said Warner Brothers would love it for it to make a profit. Of course they would. But what they need to do, if you're thinking long-term, job number one is repair the catastrophic damage done to the image of DC by the failed DCEU. That's job. You got to overcome this. And you got to overcome that this is like the 17th iteration of Superman we're going to have on screen in the last 5 months, practically. I said, that's what they got to do. The money will come. Money will come. with the franchise down the road. But I would say, Rob, it does DC no favors if this Superman movie makes $900 million, but doesn't go over well with the fans and the critics. They haven't accomplished anything. As a matter of fact, they've killed themselves. This one's got to go over well with the critics, 80+%, 82, 83% critic rating. And it's got to go over well with the audience, 92, 93% audience rating, A- cinema score rating. All these numbers far exceeding the last 5 films that the DCEU did. So for James Gunn now to be able to come out and say, yep, critics loved it. Yep, audiences loved it. Oh, and by the way, that's a victory cigar he's smoking on, by the way. By the way, unlike what Campea was saying, it was actually profitable. We still made money with it, which is insane to me. So anyway, Rob, James Gunn comes out and confirms, yes, no, we're already profitable. And yes, we're doing a sequel. What's standing out to you about his statements? Where do you see them going with this?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think what's interesting is this is the beginning of a new studio. And they have not just made one movie. They've shot Supergirl. They've shot Lanterns. They've shot Peacemaker Season 2. They have Clayface in active development. They're spending money writing Wonder Woman scripts and Teen Titans scripts or whatever they're doing. There is a lot more money that's been spent than just the production budget of Superman. So regardless of what Superman made, you're talking about the expenditure across the board. Now, people have come back at me when I've said this on this show and my own show, and they're like, well, that doesn't count for the single movie. I'm like, no, it does, because they're launching an entire studio, and they haven't just spent money on one movie. You have to include, let's just say they've spent $1 billion all in. They've made $1 billion expenditure on this first salvo.
Yeah, you're talking Superman, Peacemaker, Lantern, Supergirl. Yeah.
So there's $1 billion that's outstanding. And so of that $1 billion, whatever the return is on Superman ultimately, and when people say, it's so weird because we've gotten to the point where people now are just talking about box office. And I'm like, since when did all of you become experts in studio accounting? Because movies don't just make money on their box office. And someone will come back at me and go, well, but that's really all that matters. And it's like, not if you're at a studio. Your movie is an ongoing business proposition that has different lives. Lives. Once it comes out of the theater, it goes to SVOD or VOD. Then it gets licensed to a streaming service. Even if it's your own, you have to pay some kind of a licensing fee. There's all kinds of things. There's ancillary product. There's the merchandising deals they made with Superman has a lot where companies are paying you to put their product in the movie. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and this movie is going to continue to generate income for a while. So it's not a failure.
I guarantee you, once it hits VOD, which, by the way, the cost of VOD today is so outrageous, $25 to rent.
Sure, and there's a lot of people that
once that hits VOD, like not streaming, not on HBO Max, once it hits VOD first for $25, $30, is anybody willing to take the bet that this won't be number one on the VOD charts when it comes out? Of course it will. 100% it will be. Sorry, please continue.
Well, no, and how many people are buying? How many people are renting? A lot. There's a lot of people that just don't go to the movie theaters anymore and will watch it. So this idea that we're obsessed with box office, and I know, let's face it, this movie is in a competition with a lot of people with Man of Steel, which was a different time in a different place, and there were different concerns. Dude, I might lose $1,000 bet I had that I'm going to have to pay up if I don't on social media when I open my big mouth. But you know what? I'll pay that bet just to show that I'll do it. But that just means I have to do more YouTube shows, a little bit more Super Chat money.
By the way, just if you wanted to apply, I clearly do not. I'm saying this with tongue in cheek. Okay. Understand. This Superman movie cost $220 million to make. Do you know what Man of Steel's budget was in 2025 dollars? If you take inflation, so that's why I'm saying this in tongue in cheek. You know what Man of Steel's budget was if you take into account inflation? $328 million was the budget of Superman.
Yeah, but
again, tongue in cheek.
But a lot of people a lot of people are looking at what Warner Brothers, like the tax returns, like when they were looking for tax credits,
right?
How much the movie cost, and it was in the 300 millions, and that's why people are saying, well, it costs a lot more money. And again, I would ask and wonder, where are those numbers coming from? Unless you're seeing a budget, line items and all that, things aren't always what they seem. You're talking about studio accounting, which is never reliable. It never has been reliable. It's always going to be Shenanigan City over there. It always will be. So you never know.
By the way, Mark Wells in live chat, inflation Smurf. That should be a stuff. and again, remember, I am like, ask me again in 6 months once I've had a chance to live with Superman a little while longer. But as of right now, I feel I'll still say today, right now, Man of Steel is my favorite Superman movie. But I'm also get to live in this beautiful world where I don't have to pick sides.
Right.
I love them both. I love this new Superman movie, and I love Man of Steel. And you're a moron, not if you like one and not the other, but if you feel like you're supposed to only like one and not the other. Well, then you're a moron. I'm sorry, but you are. You're just an idiot if you believe that. If you love one and hate the other, perfectly fine.
Yeah, that should only apply to Star Trek. You have to like one and not the other.
Yeah.
Just saying.
By the way, I finally started watching Strange New Worlds, the new season. It's really good. And here's my biggest surprise, Rob. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, because there was some stuff, there's other stuff I've watched, like in Discovery or whatever, where I've gone, yeah, I can see why Rob wouldn't like this. But I was watching the new episodes of Strange New Worlds, and if I didn't already know you didn't like the new season, and somebody said, would you want to put a bet on whether Rob would like this? I said, you know what, this is in line with what Rob would like. I would have lost that bet because it looks like Star Trek that you would like. Anyway, he's holding it in. He's all right. Anyway,
you could use that bet money to pay off your other bet.
Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? We have James Gunn debunking this whole thing about how much Superman needed to break even when all you had to do is take all the commonly accepted formulas that people use to determine whether or not a movie is profitable or not. Superman is. It's making more and more profit every day that passes, and they've confirmed the sequel. But what does that mean for them long term? Like, where do they go from here? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.